The grand cathedral was filled with whispers of anticipation. Rows of elegant guests adorned in designer clothes filled the seats, waiting for Isabella Sutton to walk down the aisle and marry Daniel Remington, heir to the Remington fortune. The perfect couple, a perfect wedding, but something felt wrong. Isabella's hands trembled in the bride's room, but it wasn't just nerves. The silence from her fiancé had been growing louder for weeks. Now, only minutes before the ceremony, Daniel was nowhere to be found. When the wedding planner finally entered, her face pale and lips thin, Isabella felt her heart drop. She knew what was coming before the words were even spoken. "He's not here," the planner whispered. "Daniel has disappeared." The guests shifted uneasily in the pews. The whispers grew louder, but it wasn't until a tall, dark figure appeared at the front of the church that everything went silent. It was Alex Remington, Daniel's older brother. Alex, the mysterious and reclusive millionaire, stepped forward, his eyes locking on Isabella's stunned form. Without a word, he walked up to her, his expression unreadable. He offered his hand. "He may have abandoned you," Alex said softly, his voice a low rumble, "but I won't let you go through this alone." Title: The bride was left at the altar. But the groom's millionaire brother went to comfort her. Isabella Sutton was the epitome of grace, elegance, and independence. An up-and-coming artist, she had met Daniel Remington at a charity gala in New York. Their whirlwind romance had captured the hearts of society, as people saw them as a modern-day fairy tale. Daniel, the charming son of the Remington family empire, seemed perfect in every way, until he didn't. Behind closed doors, Daniel had begun to distance himself from Isabella, emotionally and physically. He had become more secretive, his once attentive demeanor replaced by a cold detachment. Isabella had tried to ignore the signs, chalking it up to pre-wedding jitters, but now, standing alone at the altar, reality had come crashing down. Daniel wasn't coming. But Alex Remington, Daniel's older brother, was an entirely different man. Where Daniel was light-hearted and carefree, Alex was brooding and intense. Known for his ruthless business acumen, Alex was someone who operated in shadows, managing the family's vast wealth and interests quietly, yet powerfully. Though they had barely exchanged words before this day, Alex's presence had always made Isabella feel something she couldn't quite explain, a pull, a tension, a deep, unspoken connection. As he led her out of the church, the press cameras flashing, Alex held her close. The murmurs and judgments of society meant nothing to him. But Isabella felt everything, the humiliation, the heartbreak, and the strange sense of security in Alex's embrace. In the days following the wedding fiasco, Isabella found herself in the Remington family's country estate, secluded from the media frenzy that had erupted. Alex had offered her sanctuary, an escape from the prying eyes and endless questions, and she had reluctantly accepted. There, she found an unexpected ally in Alex. "I don't know why he did this," Isabella confided one evening, her voice barely a whisper. She sat by the roaring fireplace, her eyes fixed on the flames. "I thought I knew him. I thought we were in love." Alex, sitting across from her, studied her carefully before speaking. "Daniel has always been unpredictable. But this is something else." There was something in his tone, a hint of a secret. Isabella narrowed her eyes. "What aren't you telling me, Alex?" He hesitated, the firelight casting shadows across his chiseled features. It's complicated, he finally said. Daniel, he's been involved in some things that I've tried to keep him away from. Business deals, dangerous people. I didn't realize how deep it went until recently. Isabella's heart raced. This wasn't just about a cold-footed groom. Dangerous people, she echoed, her voice shaking slightly. What are you saying? I'm saying, Alex replied, his voice grim, that Daniel didn't just walk away from you. He ran. As the days turned into weeks, Alex and Isabella grew closer. He was always there for her, providing comfort and strength when she felt her world crumbling. But there was more, an undeniable attraction simmered between them. It was in the way he looked at her when he thought she wasn't watching, in the fleeting touches that sent sparks through her skin, and in the tension that seemed to hang in the air whenever they were alone. One evening, after a particularly hard day dealing with the aftermath of the wedding scandal, Isabella found herself standing outside Alex's office, her heart pounding. She knocked softly, and when he opened the door, the sight of him, shirt sleeves rolled up, eyes dark with concern, was too much. Without thinking, she stepped inside and kissed him. It wasn't just a kiss. It was an explosion of all the pent-up emotions they had both been holding back. The passion between them was undeniable, but it was also dangerous. As they pulled apart, both breathing heavily, Alex's expression darkened. We can't do this, he said roughly, his hands still on her arms. It's wrong. Daniel. Daniel left me, Isabella cut him off, her voice firm. He abandoned me. And you've been the one here for me. You're the one I trust. But Alex stepped back, his jaw clenched. I've been protecting you, Isabella. From more than you know. She stared at him, confusion clouding her features. What are you talking about? And then, just as Alex opened his mouth to answer, the door to his office burst open. Standing there, disheveled and wild-eyed, was Daniel. The sight of Daniel was like a blow to Isabella's chest. He looked nothing like the man she had once loved. His suit was wrinkled, his eyes bloodshot, and there was a desperation about him that sent a chill down her spine. Daniel, she breathed, taking a step back. What happened to you? Daniel's gaze flickered to Alex, then back to her. I had to leave, Bella. I had no choice. No choice. Isabella's voice rose in disbelief. You left me at the altar, Daniel. You disappeared without a word. I was trying to protect you. Daniel shouted, his face contorted with anguish. I didn't want you to get dragged into this mess. Alex stepped forward, his expression cold. You should have told her the truth, Daniel. You should have told her about the debts, about the people you owe. Running away didn't solve anything. Isabella's head was spinning. Debts? Dangerous people? None of this made sense. What is going on? She demanded, her voice trembling. What have you done, Daniel? Daniel looked at her, his eyes filled with guilt. I made some bad deals, Bella. I owed money to people who aren't the kind of people you cross. When they found out about the wedding, they threatened to come after you. I had to leave. I couldn't let them hurt you. Isabella felt the ground shift beneath her feet. Everything she thought she knew about Daniel, about their life together, was a lie. But what cut even deeper was the realization that Alex had known. He had known, and he hadn't told her. "You knew about this?" she asked Alex, her voice barely a whisper. Alex's eyes were filled with regret. "I was trying to fix it. I didn't want to drag you into it until I was sure I could protect you. You should have told me." Isabella's voice cracked with emotion. "You both should have told me." The room was thick with tension, the air heavy with unspoken words. And then, just as Isabella turned to leave, there was a loud crash. The windows shattered as masked men stormed into the room, guns drawn. Chaos erupted. Alex moved swiftly, pulling Isabella behind him as Daniel scrambled to his feet. The men were shouting orders, but Alex remained calm, eyes scanning the room for an escape. "I told you they'd come," Daniel yelled, panic in his voice. Alex's jaw tightened. "Stay behind me, Isabella," he ordered, his voice low and steady. But before anyone could react, one of the men lunged at Daniel, grabbing him by the collar and dragging him toward the door. Isabella screamed as Alex pushed her behind a desk, his eyes locked on the intruders. "Take me," Alex shouted, stepping forward. "I can give you what you want. Just leave them out of this." The leader of the masked men paused, considering Alex's offer. "You're the one we want," he growled. "But Daniel's not getting off easy either." In a flash, Alex lunged forward, disarming the man with a swift, practiced move. A fight broke out, and in the chaos, Daniel managed to break free and run toward the exit. Isabella, paralyzed with fear, watched as Alex fought off the attackers, his every move calculated and precise. He was protecting her, just as he had promised. Minutes later, the masked men were subdued, and the authorities arrived. But the damage was done. Daniel had fled, leaving behind a trail of destruction. In the days that followed, Isabella and Alex pieced together the truth. Daniel had been involved in a web of deceit and corruption, his reckless actions nearly costing them everything. But through it all, Alex had stood by her, his love and loyalty unwavering. And in the quiet moments after the storm, Isabella realized that what she had with Alex was more than just a bond forged in crisis. It was real. It was love. The kind that didn't waver in the face of danger, the type that grew stronger with every challenge. As they stood together on the estate's balcony, watching the sunset over the horizon, Alex took her hand in his. "I'm sorry for everything," he murmured. "For not telling you the truth from the beginning. But I love you, Isabella. I've loved you since I saw you, even when I tried to fight it." Isabella turned to him, her heart full. "I love you too, Alex. I think I always have." And with that, they sealed their love with a kiss, knowing that they would face it together no matter what the future held. The bride had been left at the altar, but in the end, she found something far greater, a love that was real, a love that would last. The end.